Let's begin today's Vanguard news by giving Overlord fanboys a reason to start reading the Skyride manga, as its third volume will come with a new promo card. Crimson Flames of the Apocalypse is an order card. When played, makes you draw a card, then call a unit card in your hand to rearguard with a grade equal or lower than your Vanguard, or discard a card if it's not a unit card, and retire one of your opponent's front row rearguards. The unit called by this ability gets 5k power instead if you did not retire with this effect. And while in the drop zone, you can pay 3 energy if you have an Overlord Vanguard and you did not bound a card with the same name as this card this turn, to either write an Overlord card with a different name than your Vanguard from your deck, or you can pay 1 discard if you have a Vanguard with the Persona Ride ability and you did not ride from a grade 2 Vanguard this turn, to activate Persona Ride. I'm pissed as hell, because this card is what Thegria desperately needed, and Bushiroad instead gave it to one of the most supported encounter decks in the game. Not to mention the order effect is basically a discount but costless wisdom of beginning, that Overlord decks can finally run their own nation pile with Latifah and Shenri, especially when they have no more need for Rada Hatchet Dragon. Bushiroad is finishing up all the unpopular decks before getting into the meat of the set by finally giving Velino and MMe-Glam decks some new cards in DZBT08. Velino Familiar Delianer, when placed on rearguard, makes you soul charge 1 card if you have a grade 3 or higher Lascaria Vanguard, and while on rearguard, you charge 1 energy when she boosts a grade 3 or higher Velino unit. Just your generic resource manager unit that doesn't need to hit. All the deck needs is to countercharge and they are covered. Velino Familiar Egregious, when placed on rearguard from hand that isn't during the battle phase, lets you pay 1 counter blast that you can pay with 1 soul blast and 2 energy instead if you have a grade 3 or higher insect Vanguard, to either call a card with a grade equal or lower than your Vanguard with a different name than her, or add a blitz order from your drop zone. While on rearguard during your turn, she gets 5k power if you have a grade 3 or higher insect Vanguard, and once per turn while on rearguard, you can pay 1 counter blast when your grade 3 or higher Lascaria Vanguard attacks to stand herself, and she gets 5k power if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or higher. The fact that the first 2 abilities only require an insect Vanguard makes me speculate if Bushiroad is actually thinking of premium players in mind, or they plan to create a new insect Vanguard. And this card basically replaces Erephus, because Bushiroad probably wanted to streamline the deck to just compose of mostly waifu units. Thumbs up. Febro, while on rearguard, lets you retire herself if you have a grade 3 or higher MMe-Glam Vanguard, to call a MMe-Glam normal unit from your drop zone. Then that unit gets 5k power if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or higher. So Bushiroad's answer to the deck's flaw of needing MMe-Glam units is to have a non-MMe-Glam unit game end herself to revive any MMe-Glam unit like a Necromancer. This was clearly the only way. Finally, MMe-Glam supporting Drumlimroll while on the back row rearguard gets 5k power when she boosts while you have a grade 3 or higher MMe-Glam Vanguard. Then you can pay 1 discard and retiring herself at the end of the battle while your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or higher, to set your Vanguard's drive check to 2. So it's a 13k booster that just gives Blue Crayu to and drive. Well, at least this is less convoluted than banging your dream in Vanguard. And that concludes this Vanguard news without the bullshit. Special thanks to my Patreon members for continuing to support my content creation. Be sure to subscribe and let me know in the comments if Latifah suddenly spiked to $50 each again.